Hey, this is Daniel from the Blue Corner.
And John from the Red Corner, just along for the ride.
That's right, because today we're going to look at our top 10 games of 2024. And I said ours, but I mean mine, because I actually played a lot of games this year. I actually did enough that I felt really good about doing a top 10, because these are games that I actually enjoyed a lot this year.
There we go. Okay.
So, how many games did you play this year, John?
From 2024,
Yeah.
when we went to make our list, I think it was a shade under 20.
Okay,
So
that's not bad.
that's not bad.
That's not bad. I'm not going to say how many because I don't want somebody to judge me and say that's not enough.
Yeah.
But I played enough to where I got 10 that I'm like, I'm happy they're
There
on
you
this
go.
list. So part of the reason there's 10 on this list too is because we got into Gen Con and I got to experience a lot of these games in Gen Con, bought them at Gen Con, and that helped me increase these numbers.
There you go.
So yeah. And hey, remember we have a contest going on right now until
yes.
we reach 1,800 subscribers. Every 200 subscribers we have, we're going to be giving away a game, and all you have to do is comment on the videos from
That's
that
it.
announcement to whenever that happens. So leave a comment on here, and you'll be entered in a chance to win one of our number one games of all time.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. That's the important thing. And you also want to share, because if you're sharing, other
You're
people
carrying.
are subscribing, which then gets us closer to those numbers
true.
to give away games. So we're bribing you to tell your friends about us. So
Unashamedly.
please
Yes.
do that. Go
Yes,
ahead. We'll
why
wait.
not?
We'll
Yeah,
wait.
we'll wait.
Hit the button.
Get 5 subs before we continue.
All right. Well, let's get into it, shall we? You
Let's-
want to hear my number 10
I would
games?
love to hear
my
it.
top 10.
I'm wondering if I like any of them. So let's see.
You'll like 2. All right, so my number 10 is a game that I found on the our Gen Con episode when we were excited for games on Gen Con.
Gotcha.
It's the guy who did Pipeline, so I was like, oh, I got to check this out, even though it has nothing to do with Pipeline at all. But I like to follow designers. I think
Gotcha.
if I like one, I might like others. So, but this game is Spectral. It is. Yeah, it's a really cool game where you are. It's a deduction game, and you're trying to figure out what things are. It's kind of like an area control deduction game, because there's like a grid of cards and you want to know what is at the bottom of the cards. And you do that by placing your meeples next to it, and you flip it over, and it's going to show you like a design of some sort where it says like place the treasure like 2 spaces away. And it's all iconography, which is fairly easy to figure out. So it might tell you that the treasures, there could be a treasure 2 away. And you have this like spiral book that's really nice. And you're like, why should I write in this book? It looks like a book I should put on my shelf or something. Like, it's really nice. But you're writing in the spiral book and you're writing these notes down. Well, while you're doing this, you're also playing your meeples down, which are going to kind of give you, if you have the most meeple around something, you get to gain control of that area. So you're trying to figure out where those items are so that you can surround it and get it. But now the catch is there's curses as well.
Ooh, don't surround those.
Exactly, because if you are even touching a curse, you automatically lose. So I might know that there's a treasure up on top and John is surrounding it with me, but on my left, that's the right, on my right, there's a curse.
Yes.
So those people die, now giving John the majority over here.
I like the way this game's going.
Yeah. So anyway, Spectral is really cool. It's a deduction game,
Okay.
and very well produced as well.
I remember you talking about this game on the show, and I've seen it here somewhere.
It's
And-
behind me over here. It's
yeah,
a small
okay.
box game.
Yeah, small box game.
Small
it's very
box.
odd for you.
Oh,
Yes,
I know.
and it's very abstract-ish, sounds like.
Oh, very. I
But
mean,
it sounds like it plays differently than a lot of games, though.
It does.
It's just
There's
sounds-
nothing out there like
Yeah.
quite like it. Yeah,
Okay,
it's super cool.
I would give it a try, but
All
yeah,
right.
I've not played this game.
Yeah, I played the Boons. I played with Nate Boone,
Gotcha.
and Nate Boone kind of has this like demeanor of like, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
We got done with this game,
Yes.
and he goes, that could be one of the best games I've ever played.
Really?
And I was like, you liked it? He's like, yeah, I'm buying it right now. And I'm like, okay. I was getting the wrong feel
That's
there,
pretty
but I'm
good.
glad you liked
I
it.
think he would appreciate that impersonation. That's pretty good.
Number 9.
What's your number
is a
9?
game that you will appreciate. It was
Good.
on your list at Gen Con, and it was actually
Really?
one of the rare games that John said, go get me this game. I need to
Oh.
get it. And that is, do you know what it is?
Is it
Lords of Baseball.
Baseball. I was thinking baseball highlights.
What a
but yes.
really cool game.
Yes, it is a
It's
cool
no baseball highlights. Baseball highlights is a lot better in my
It's not
opinion.
anything like it, though.
Nothing like it, because this one, instead of playing the game, you are actually running the team.
Yes.
You are building up your stadium. You are drafting new characters. You actually know
Players.
this, players. You know about this game a little bit better than me, probably.
Maybe.
Though, right?
Maybe.
So what else am I missing on this?
Oh well, I mean, there's a lot of things. It's really an economic game disguised as
Yeah,
a baseball game,
right.
And so with a baseball theme, and the theme comes through really well, I think.
Very well.
And I think what a cool thing about it is you actually do play through the season.
Yeah.
So that's cool too. But you don't do it each game at a time. You do it. Well, we're going to play this team 20 times. Let's see
Yeah.
how that record comes out. And so you can play a card, and like if you're playing an actual opponent, I'm going to play this card. And then they're like,
That's right.
you're going to play that. I'm going to play this card. Oh, well, if you're going to play that card, then I'm also going to play this card. Do I want to save this card? Nope, I'm going to play this card too. And then boom, and then yeah. So then that's all going to do mitigation, adding dice, doing different things, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you're playing the series, like so.
Yeah,
like
you're playing the
one,
series for the entire
so
year.
like if me and John go against each other,
Yeah.
based on what we play, it gives us our range. Like
Yes.
I might have won 25 and he only won 15, and
Yeah.
then that gives a certain amount of points
Yeah.
up on the fame track or the whatever track it's
Yeah.
called. But
Yeah.
really clever game. My one fear about it is I do need to play it more. Is I feel like it could be samey, could be. I do fear that because like I know we played a long game at Rob Syrian's house, and it was by the end of it I kind of was like, do I need to play the long version? And then I was like, well, if
Gotcha.
I don't like the long version, I wonder how this is going to play over multiple
Yeah.
games.
Because I've only played solo and then a short version. So when I played solo, I went bankrupt.
Yeah.
But
Just like real baseball.
man, did I have a good team. Man, we took the pennant that third year, I think it was, and yeah, we didn't look back. But yeah.
Sometimes you got to go all in
That's
for
right.
1 year.
So I guess technically I lose.
Yeah.
But it was fun. But yeah. We're actually going to maybe do a comparison with this game
Are
and
we?
another one that's coming out called Bat Flip Dynasty.
That's right.
Because I had a little hookup with the creators of that game. We'll see what happens, and we might have a spring training episode
Yeah.
of talking about baseball.
That'd be
But
cool.
We'll see.
My number 8 is the hottest Christian themed game that has come out on the market so far. It is not Deliverance, which is a great game and it is pretty hot, but this one is from a publisher who isn't just known for Christian games, which is what makes this one kind of spectacular. And that is Ezra and Nehemiah. That's
There we go.
right. It's a heavy Euro game from Garfield Games, and you are building the walls of Jerusalem from the time when the Israelites have returned from exile. And this game is it's wonderful, and it is chunky. I don't know if you will like it because it is a 3-hour game, but maybe the theme alone and the smoothness of play will convince you.
It's, I do have GLA. I suffer
do.
from game
Yep.
length anxiety. However, if there's like 3 of us sitting here
Uh-huh.
and it's 6 o'clock at night,
Okay, all right.
and this is what we're going to do for the night,
So if I
then
say-
I really don't have a problem.
So if we're
with
gonna like
3-hour game.
review this game and I'm like, let's get it played,
Oh yeah,
do
there'd be
you
no
do
problem
it?
with it. As in the theme intrigues me,
Yeah.
like no doubt. Well, recently I played a game like that.
Yeah.
Manefer, which was a
Watch your
long,
mouth.
a long Manefer of a game, and going into it, okay, I didn't really know it was going to be that long.
Yeah.
And the guy that was there,
I was shocked that you sat down at the table.
and well, I don't know. I felt like it was going to be rude now if I
Yeah.
didn't, but I kind of joked because I didn't think it was a long game. Like,
Ah.
so was this like a 2-hour game? The guy goes,
Yeah.
no, 3 hours, a little more, and I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
He was not joking
He's
at
not
all.
joking.
And it was every bit of
Yeah.
that 3 hours.
But
But it
that
was a good
John
game,
Hook,
though.
That was John Hook
Yes,
who taught. He
yes.
watches the show, so he might be watching.
There we
this
go,
right now.
John. Yes.
So
I thought you were joking when
Yeah.
you said 3-hour game. And I think other people had said they were going to play it and backed out. So I'm like, well, I don't want to be another guy that just backs out. I'm going to, it's supposed to be a good game. I'll go ahead and play it. It was actually a really good game. Nothing to do with your list. But
So
that
my
is a
number
20,
8,
but that is a
Manefer.
2024 game that I was on my list. And so
Yeah.
that would have been in my top 10 because
Yeah.
it was a very good game.
That's great.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
yeah, I probably would like it too. But yeah, it's
And
convinced
it's a
me.
very heavy game. So
Yeah,
there you
convince
go.
me to play a 3-hour game is actually fairly hard too. I don't have GLA like you
Really?
do, but I
Okay.
still sometimes
I
I'm
thought
like,
you would like that. Okay.
depends on what scenario it is. But
I
so
gotcha.
Ezra and Nehemiah, I didn't know it was 3 hours long because if I did, I probably would have balked a little bit more at it. But I'm
Oh,
glad I
I
did it.
gotcha.
But yeah, it's really cool. You get to build the wall around Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing cards. When you play cards, you get the resources that are on the wall,
Yeah.
which then gives you, you also get to hire people and you have to feed your people unless they are priests because
There
they
we
eat
go.
the
I'm
sacrifice.
only having
They
priests.
eat the sacrifice.
Only getting
So
priests.
very thematic in that way, right? But yeah, very good game.
Okay.
Ezra and Nehemiah.
Yeah, I would definitely play it.
All right. Number 7 is a shocker. So there's an ongoing joke since the beginning of our creation of around the board, and that is my pronunciation of endeavor. Endeavor. It's a really hard word for me
Yeah.
to say, and it sounds like I'm saying in Denver.
Yeah.
And the part of this joke is
Wonder
that
what
I
game this
never
is.
wanted to play Endeavor because it was one of Andy's favorite game. But then they were like, hey, we're reprinting it. And I go, okay, Andy, I can replay it now because now it's a new game, you know. And then I never played it. And at this point, I was like, well, I can't play Endeavor unless it's in Denver. It's just the rules. But I was with our friend Ken O'Connor, and he busted out Endeavor Deep Sea. I think they're completely. I don't know how different they are.
They play anything.
Yeah, they don't look like it. I heard that they are. There's some similarities.
Okay.
But this Deep Sea Endeavor game is fantastic.
Really?
I think if I played it a couple more times, it could even be in my top 50 list games of all time, if not even higher, because it was a really fun game where you kind of are exploring as you go, and then every round you have the ability to like recruit a new person, which then gives you another ability to do, and that is also your timer as well. Once you get your 7th person, then the game is going to be over soon, and each person kind of gives you the ability, so you can go different ways in this game. Like you can upgrade your people to where you're doing these powerful actions and you get a lot of points, or you can really do area control down on these boards that you're exploring, or you can manipulate like specific locations. Like there's so many little things about this game, and it plays so smooth. That's what our friend Kent always says as well, is he's like, this is one of the smoothest games you'll play. And when he played, he's like, what'd you think? I said, Kent, it was smooth. And it just did. Everything you did made sense. Everything was fun. It was enjoyable. While Kent was diving down deep into the water, I stayed at the surfaces and collecting crabs or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was. And another person was focusing on upgrading their staff. And during the game, I was like, I have no idea who's actually winning. And then when it came down to it, I ended up winning, and I was like,
"Oh, nice!"
I felt like I did good.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, but like I had no idea what Kit was doing. I had no idea.
Exactly.
And the whole time,
I like
I was
those kind of
yeah,
games.
and I was looking. I was like, I haven't went beyond level 1, and Kent's level 5 right now. Surely he's going to destroy me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what I was doing actually worked. That's cool. That's cool.
That's really. See, it's another one of those games that gives you FOMO, where you're like, yeah, where you're like, I think I'm doing good with this, but are they doing better with that? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, very good. I enjoyed the first Endeavor, so
good. I think you'll enjoy this one too. I don't know how they compare, but this one felt really good.
Okay.
And I think it probably appeals to a lot of people. Give it a try.
Okay, I will. I promise.
And number 6 is a game I played only at Gen Con. I haven't played it since. I thought about buying it, but I was like, well, it's a Queen game, and they usually drop in price. So if I wait a little bit, I might get a good deal on it. But this game is called, let's see here. Hey, you know what? Don't get a reputation of selling your games for $2.
There you go.
I'm looking, because I'm going to pronounce it wrong.
Yes.
It's called Daba Walla.
Okay.
It's about delivering food in another country, maybe India. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. But it's a polyomino tile laying game.
Okay.
And it's really cool because you are actually stacking your tiles on top of each other. You have like a 9x9 or a 3x3 grid, or maybe a 4x4, and you're kind of picking up cards from the board, which lets you put the tiles down on the board.
Gotcha.
Well, now you can put down a next level of tiles, but there can't be anything that overlaps. So you don't necessarily have to fill up your whole board, but you can't, if you don't fill up your whole board, then you've reduced the amount of space you can play as you go up.
Gotcha.
Which can be a good thing, because the game ends when somebody gets to like level 8 or whatever. And then this is where the catch is. I'm playing, if I wanted to play yellow, I play my yellow card. Great. Well, I have cards in my hands, so when the game is over, we now reverse order this. We're going to start taking things off, and we're going to score it based on like the cards that we have left in our hands. So if it says like, hey, on the top level, you score for all your yellows. You're like, I got a yellow score.
Yellow.
But at the bottom, you have a lot more yellow. So you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to save for the bottom.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of something that it almost feels like it's playing in 2 parts. It's not, but it feels like that because you're building up the stack, and then at the end, you tear down the stack to score it.
Okay.
Really interesting and unique tile laying game.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I explained it well or not, but it's definitely unique and fun to play.
Okay.
So
I'll look for that one, because you don't own it. So
I think you would like it. It's a simple game.
Oh, that cut me to the quick.
No, because you like the little quick simple games. Like, this is a game you would play with your family. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't mean that you only like simple games. I just meant this would.
John can handle this game.
This would fit your play group, and I think this is a game they would be excited to play.
Gotcha.
Number 5 is a game that you are going to approve of, because if you
Good.
made a top 10 list, this could be your number like 2
Okay.
or 1 even, and that is River Valley Glassworks from
Oh,
All
there we
Play.
go.
Our friends at All Play. This game is beautiful. It looks great, and it plays quickly, which
Yes.
is also a plus. But it has a really fun scoring mechanism, which is the entire game. You are getting these gems from the river, which again, the production is just lights out on this, so look it up. It's
Yes.
beautiful. But you're getting the gems, and you're putting them on your board, and your board can only hold, I think, like 7 spaces.
7, I think it is.
And there's 8 gems in there total. So if you fill up all 7, and there's an 8th gem, that anytime you get the 8th gem, you're gonna get
Sometimes
negative
there's
points.
9.
Sometimes there's 9 even,
Yeah.
but you'll get negative points. So you're always making sure you grab the right ones. And then there's rarity as well. And usually you want the rarity at the beginning of your line and the
Maybe.
super plentiful ones at the end, because you score your 2 highest columns.
Yes.
That's right. So if your first column is the highest,
That's gonna score.
You're going to score like 5 points.
Yeah, it's not very much.
If your last column is one of the 2 highest, you're going to
like
score
40.
like 35,
Yeah, it's
40
gonna be
points.
insane. Yep.
So it's a really fun puzzle and a balancing act of how you're going to do that. When I said you want to put your most rarest at the front, and he said maybe, it's because you also get points for your rows as well. So if you
have to
use
start
the
a row.
rarest, you got to start it. And I have seen people who have done literally 3 rows,
3 complete rows?
but they're
Wow.
except for the first one, because they used the rare resource.
Oh,
and they could never
no.
get 2 more the entire game, so
Oh
they
my
could not score the
gosh.
2 rows.
Yeah.
If they did, they would have won, but they couldn't.
Oh,
So
man. Yeah.
really fun game, simple, plays under 30 minutes. There's also like modules. I haven't been busted out
Yes.
the modules
I've
yet.
done a couple of them. They're really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. They'll
I'm
give
excited
everybody
about
a different like a different shape that
Yeah.
scores for them and things like that. Like if you get extra points if you have 4 or more of this shape on your board.
Cool.
And there's
Another-
other ones too that do like maybe a one-time use for a tool or something.
Yeah.
Like you can take this, or you can take from different parts, different tiles or something. Yeah.
Cool.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a great game. I enjoyed it a lot.
Might be featured on a future episode of Around the Board.
Could be.
Yeah.
Be.
It's in the works.
My number 4 was a game that is by the designer of Ethnos, and I love this guy and some of the other things he did as well. So
Miori?
like when I heard about this, I was like, well, I have to give it a try, and I played it, and I was like, okay, this designer is like Reiner Knizia-esque in the fact that your actions are so simple,
So simple.
but what comes out of it is just so much fun, and that
Okay.
is Captain Flip.
Oh, okay.
This game, this is how you play. I can teach the game. Here's a bag of tiles.
Yes.
You're going to draw one, and you're either going to place it down or you're going to flip it.
And then place it down.
And then place it down. And I said, let me tell you what tiles are in there real quick. And I tell you the tiles, and you're like, great, let's start. And that's the game.
That's the game.
You're placing them on your ship. You're trying to get like certain ones not in the same row or column. You're getting other ones that are like set collection. There's a bomber. So if you have 3 of the cannoners or whatever, you actually just lose the game. But then there's like a monkey that allows you to flip a tile. So if you have 3 cannons, you can be like, I'm going to get my monkey there. But you have to start from top to bottom. So you're always, but there's like many rows.
Bottom to top.
There
you go.
But there are different columns as well.
Yes.
So sometimes you're like, well, I need this spot to be open, so maybe I'll come over here. But then now you're running out of time, so you're like, I'm gonna have to bury that spot.
Yeah.
And then you bury that spot, and then you finally get the tile you needed, and you're like, no, I don't know what it was for as long. Anyways, plays in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
It's,
Like
well, not quite, but
it should
definitely
play in
15 or
10 minutes.
20.
It should
Yeah.
play in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so simple yet so fun.
I think
Captain
that was
Flip.
on sale recently at an FLGS. I
Oh,
really
okay.
thought about picking it up, even
Oh.
though it's not like I don't know if it would have been this. It definitely wouldn't have been this high on my list, as you know from when we talked. But it is pleasant.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's a very
Yes.
pleasant game.
It was very pleasant.
Yeah.
I kind of take it. It's my go-to game now. I kind of bring it everywhere.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking
it's a good one for
no
that.
matter what crowd I'm with,
Yeah, they'll be
I
able
can
to play
teach this
that.
real quick and
Yep.
play it. So really good. All right, top 3 here.
Top 3.
These are the best of the best. So my number 3 is again, if you've been following some of this stuff, you know that I really like my card games. And this year, a card game came out that was just fantastic. Took the world by storm.
Did
and
it?
That was Star Wars
There we go.
what is it called?
Not unmatched.
Unlimited. I wanted to say Ununited.
Ununited.
I was like, wait a second. But Star Wars Unlimited, it is a collectible card game, and that's its flaw, of course. But, I'm going to just look on its merits. And this game is probably one of the best collectible card games that have come out in years. It has a very clean, like the resources. Okay, this game doesn't have resources that are defined by resources. There's no mana, there's no energy. Instead, any card in your hand can be used as a face down resource. I love that. That's what Versus 2-player card games does as well. And then beyond that, you have two fields in the battle. You have the land units and you have air units, and then your goal is to kill the other person's base. And your land units can attack the base, and your air units can attack the base. And only air units or space units can defend against space units, and only land against land. So you're just doing really fun things. You might build a deck where it's like super space heavy, which takes advantage of your person who doesn't have a space fleet or something like that. The other really unique thing about this is you get to pick a leader, and your leader is
like a
always
two-leader,
exactly, a leader. Your leader is always in the game, but it only becomes an active player once through the game. And at some point, you meet a threshold, you bring it into play, and it's super powerful, but it can be defeated as well. So you're always balancing, like, when you want to throw it out there because you want to protect your leader and you don't want it to be taken out too quickly. But if it is taken out, it still goes back to your base, and it has a passive ability that continues on.
Yeah.
This is a great game. It does not do a lot of the same things that other games have done, which is a big plus for any collectible card game. It feels different, feels unique, a lot of fun. Star Wars Unlimited.
I did enjoy this game.
Yeah.
But go back to watch our episode where we talked about it if you want to see everybody yell at me. But everything but the collectible part.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it's
to me
unfortunate.
it was fun. Because to me, if you add the collectible stuff in, it's going to be too much of a mishmash of different times when things were introduced. You could have like three.
You want your theme.
I want my theme. I want my episode 4. Here's these guys going after these guys. And when we did that, it was a blast. I had R2-D2 going around with Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, causing all kinds of havoc and killing a bunch of people, which I could just imagine that happening. And he had a force field, so nobody could hurt him for a while. And things like that are cool. Yeah. And so there were some really good moments in that game. And you built some decks that I thought were really fun to play with. But
there you go.
so yeah, if you like that kind of thing, you're going to love that. And if you have any inclination towards Star Wars at all, you will love it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a collectible card game, why haven't you played this yet? Because
exactly. What is wrong with you?
It is wonderful.
My gosh.
All right, my number 2 is actually a reprint, but I'm going to count it because that's the kind of people we are. We count reprints because if we didn't,
not?
Chris would have played like no new games, so we
true.
had to. But my number 2 is Skyrise.
Oh, there we go. Yes, Skyrise, very good.
Great game. Area control again and auction again. Love those two things, and the area control and the auction are both so unique because you pick an area. You say, I want this spot right here. Well, then you place a building that is numbered 1 through 100, and you place it there. Well, the next person, they may not want you to have that spot, or they may want the next spot. But either way, they're going to put a building that is higher than your building on the next spot. If that person wins, they win the spot they are at, not the spot you were at.
Correct.
So it's like a train of auctions, and like while you're bidding on point A, you actually might end up winning.
Yes.
X.
Yeah.
It can go on for a long time. And you're doing this all in the mindset of getting specific areas, controlling different colors, meeting different goals. So it's a really unique game, and the production was top notch, super fun.
Even in the base
game. I actually preferred it because I don't want the big chunky plastic base. I think that was stupid.
I like the big chunky plastic ones.
You and Chris both.
It's really weird that Chris likes it that much.
I know, it's weird.
And this was a game that I had to be talked into playing. It was just that, hey, it's once again, the Evans, Ryan Evans, one of our friends of the show and a friend of ours personally, that at a gaming event was like, it plays quick. And I was like, that got me. Like, okay, I will try anything if it plays quick.
45 minutes.
And it's a quick teach, too.
Yeah.
It's the implementation of what you do that's tricky. And I'm not really good at this game, but I really like it as well. And I've brought it to different gaming events. I've requested it as a gift and actually gotten it.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it's some of it's hard to wrap your mind around because it's a different game than other, like you're saying. You might not even want the spot that you bid on, but you're like, I want to continue this and see where it goes. And it usually starts out with low-level buildings anyway, unless it's something you really want. You're like, I'm putting my 100 right here.
Yeah, boom. Take it from me. I dare you.
Like, all right, it's yours. But otherwise you're like, well, I could put my 30 there. I wouldn't mind getting that for my 30. And then it starts getting higher and higher, and you're like, then you have to start making some really big decisions.
Yeah.
And then it's also like, if he takes that, what does that do?
Yeah.
Because then that changes the board, and it can make something else easy to get.
Yeah, very
So-
rarely are you like, I'm going to put my 30 here because I might get it. Usually you're like, I'm going to
Yeah.
put my 30 here so that I can spend my 60
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, it's like, we'll see
Yeah.
what direction this goes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Cool game.
approve of that one.
That's
Very
right.
good.
Also, fun fact, my number 2 and number 1 game are both in my top 50s.
What?
Which, if you haven't got to watch our top 50 yet, go ahead and
That's
finish watching this, and then go
crazy.
watch the top 50 and find out where Skyrise lands and my number 1.
You are like Cult of the New.
I mean, what can you say? Games are good. Games are good games.
Good game, big good game.
My number one, if you've watched our actual episode, I thought about doing a top 11 because technically everybody should know my number 1 because I'm sure everyone out there has watched our episode where we did our recap of the year.
Oh, I gotcha. Yes.
But my number 1 is a video game turned into a
Oh,
board
there we
game
go.
that mimics the video game mimics a board game.
Video
that was
game
turned
champion.
into a board game, and it was called Slay the Spire.
Yes.
That's right, Slay the Spire. It was a great implementation from video game to board game. I'm blown away by how well it worked out. But essentially, it is a deck building game, and you get to build your deck every time you go into a battle. So you do a quick 5-minute battle with your friends. It's a cooperative game, and then at the end you get to add a new card to your deck, and then you get to go to the next.
Who
villain.
doesn't like that?
It's great. It's constant rewarding and reaffirming your good choices or bad choices. And it ramps up just like it does in the video game. I played this with Kelly, and it was really funny because the first couple matches, she's like, it was really easy. And I was like,
yeah.
and she's like, I can take
You're
the
like, yeah,
damage.
it's
I don't
supposed to
really
be.
care. And I
Yeah.
go, no, you really don't want to take the damage if you can avoid it. And she's like, that's fine. I'll take a damage. I was like, okay. And then we get to the boss, and it's like, okay, you take 6 damage.
Oh,
and she's
my.
like, wait, what? And then John, another friend of ours named John, he actually ended up dying by 1 point. And I go, remember 3 rooms ago when you said you could take 1
I can
damage
take
because
it.
this game is easy?
There you go.
There you go. Should have played that defense
Yeah.
card. So
Yeah, that was a short game that you guys played.
it was. Yeah, we did not. I don't even know if we got to the boss
Didn't
actually.
very well.
But it's a great game, wonderful game, and the way it implemented from video game to board game is just a modern marvel.
It is. That's what everyone's saying about it.
Yeah, it should be researched in the future for other games who go
It
for
really
video
should
games.
because so many of them are done poorly.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like you might have heard this a lot because usually anytime you see an IP game, you're like, oh, that's not going to port over well, and
yeah.
it doesn't, and they suck. And look at Stardew Valley, that one. So people are like, woo, and now no one talks about it because they're like, it wasn't that great. And there's so many games like that, but Slay the Spire, no, this game is going to be on top 10 lists for years and years and
Okay.
years because it was
Okay.
done that well. So
There you go.
there you go. That was my number 1. What are your games from 2024? Which ones do you like the best? Again, you can watch our end of year episode and really find out what we thought about some other games as well. And what
And you'll see
John-
my top 3.
That's right. Top 3.
Yeah.
It was a top 3.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that. Okay. I do
Did we?
want to. No, I think
We just did our
one.
favorite. We just did our favorite.
Yeah.
And then honorable mentions.
I do want to throw this out. There is a game I played this year that I thought was a 2024 release, and when I found out it wasn't, I was appalled.
Yes.
And I think it deserves to be mentioned because I think it got missed for whatever reason. And that's Video Game Champion. It came out in 2023, apparently.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I
Really?
know no one's talking about this
Okay.
game, guys, but
That
it's
is a good game.
It's a Dice Tower Essential, even, so you
Oh,
know
really?
there's
Okay.
some kind of validity there.
Yeah.
But this game is fantastic. It is a very tight economic game about renting video games in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about theme and how immersive theme comes
Yeah,
out of there.
very
There's
much.
so many fun stories. I was when John and I were playing, I was the kid that the parent just bought them all the games, and I was like, I'm not gonna go to the video rent store and rent
Why would I do
with you
that?
peasants.
I'll
I'm
buy
just
it
gonna
and play it when I
I'm
want
just-
to.
Yeah, but I was so loaded with debt to my parents that they were like, but the game ended and I still had it, so I felt good because I was like, I got all my games and I didn't have to do anything I promised. Anyways, it's a really clever game with a closed, very tight economy. Highly recommend it. Don't know
Yes.
how it got overlooked as much as it did.
That's
but,
really cool.
But it's
The
a really
artwork,
cool game.
everything out in it is really good.
Yeah. So that was my honorable mention.
Yeah, very good.
That should
I
have been a
approve.
2024 game.
I approve that. Yeah, it should have been. You're right.
So, all right. Well, that's it, guys. Again, leave a comment and subscribe for the enter the contest. But until next time, we'll see you around the board.